Hi, friends. I'm Emily Lay, and you're listening to the Simplified podcast. If you're looking for a quiet place where you can start to simplify your life and organize your home, this is it. Every week, I invite you to join me and explore practical ways to organize and automate the complicated parts of life so you can focus on what truly matters most. Well, guys, we hope you will pop over to emilylay.com as you start your new year because you can save 23% on 2023 Simplified planners with code PLAN2023. Head on over to emilylay.com to shop our monthly, weekly, and daily options before they're gone. Well, one day when I was 33, I realized that I was closer to 40 than I was to 25. 7 years in either direction would put me at 26 or 40. How could this have happened? I wondered. When did I wake up and become sort of maybe middle-aged? It's weird, right? Sometimes I feel like I'm still the girl that I was when I was 13, looking in the mirror, unsure of who she is and what she sees. She doesn't know her body, her mind, her heart, her soul. She's still becoming. She is all potential. But that's not who I am anymore. I have grown and changed. So much has changed because that's what's supposed to happen. So why was I so stricken that I was closer to 40 than 25? What did that even matter anyway? Over the years, one thing I've learned is that I don't have to stay attached to my feelings. I don't have to judge them. Instead, I've learned that I can take a step back and look at them, like when I pick up a beautiful fall leaf from the ground. I can turn it over, trace its veins in my hands. I don't have to judge it. I just look at it. It's the same when it comes to my feelings. Do you ever have feelings about what you're feeling? Like you feel sad or mad or guilty when you have an emotion you don't like? I do too. But I've learned that I can let go of the feelings around my feelings because what I'm feeling, it's not just the gospel truth of what's going on in my life. Sometimes my feelings happen because I'm hungry or I'm tired. Do I always believe everything that comes out of my 7-year-old's mouth when she's tired? No. So back to that day as a 33-year-old. I started to think about why I was so freaked out about being closer to 40. And it turned out that the only things I could think of were that society told me I was supposed to be freaked out about it. That it was the gateway to irrelevance, that everything good and happy mostly happens to people under 40, because that's who stars in the majority of shows and commercials. But honestly, I don't think that's true, and I don't think it ever was. One of the great things about getting older is making friends who are older than you, who have been where you are. And when I ask everyone who has been in their 40s if they'd rather be in their 30s or 40s, do you know what they tell me? I would 100% rather be in my 40s. My 40s have been my best decade. I figured out who I was in my 40s, and I let go of what other people thought I should be or do. So why are you talking so much about being 40, Emily? Well, friend, because I am going to be 40 next month. And I don't know about you, but milestone birthdays make me pause and reflect about who I am, where I've been, and where I'm going. Even more than your typical New Year's type of situation. Life is a series of learning and letting go. That's the rhythm we learn from a young age. We get comfortable with loss. After all, as kids, we're constantly moving through clothes and shoes and classrooms way too quickly to ever get attached. But somewhere along the way, we're forced to let go of something we're not ready to yet. A pet, a friend who moved away, a grandparent. Those losses hurt. We didn't ask for them. But we have to learn how to cope with having something precious pried away from us without our consent. It's not fun. So what have I lost by leaving my younger milestone ages behind? What have I lost from the woman I was at 25? Well, I've let go of a version of me that I was so proud of, that I have so much affection for. 25 was the year I got married. The year I started a new business, burning the midnight oil in the guest bedroom while I was designing wedding invitations and stationery until the sun peeked through the curtains. That 25-year-old dreamed big. She worked hard. Her skin was flawless. But would I go back there? If someone gave me $1 million, would I pull a Freaky Friday and choose to go back to living as 25-year-old Emily? Well, some days when the emails are pinging and the dog is barking and a kid's woken up 4 times in the middle of the night, yeah, I'd probably sign up for a day. But for the long haul, Girl, you couldn't pay me enough to go back there. Because right now I'm living the life that 25-year-old Emily desperately wanted. Every day I walk through a home filled with her answered prayers in the form of a family she only dreamed about. I'm living in a body that has birthed the children she longed for. I have a business she worked so hard to grow so that she could be with those babies. I have a marriage that is truly, absolutely sweeter as the years go by. We laugh more and love deeper because we know what it's like to cling to each other during the storms. We have the muscle memory of road trips and car seats and grabbing each other's hands in bed before sleep. We have thousands of little life memories that make the constellation of our marriage more beautiful. And I still, thank God, have parents I love who are still around. I have a brother and a sister-in-law and a sweet niece who I adore. I have friends and family and community that are becoming more dear to me by the year. I have a business filled with women I am so glad to call my colleagues and my friends. I have so much to be thankful for, and yet, as I get closer to 40, I realize that while I may not be the girl I was at 25, when the world tells us we're at our peak, I can't help but think about everything else I'm gaining in spades. Things you can't see necessarily. You can't really photograph and put in a frame on your wall. What I have gained these last 15 years is so valuable, and it all makes my life so much richer. The good, the bitter, the sweet. So let me share a little bit more about what I'm talking about here. Number one, my mind. With this 40-year-old brain of mine, I am so much more aware of who I am, way more than I ever was at 25. After all, when you're 25, the timer has just gone off in your brain. It's been forming and shaping itself until at 25, it's finally done. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that helps you think and reason and make rational decisions, is finally through growing. I remember feeling so much different in my late 20s than I did in my early 20s. My circumstances were a lot different, of course. I ended the decade as a wife and a mom, but there was something else there. In some ways, I started to notice the flickers of a trait I couldn't quite explain, but now I know is a special brand of confidence, one that comes when you've weathered enough to know yourself well. Your 20s are all about trying stuff, and for me, it was trying on different personalities. Who was I going to be? It was like being a kid again and playing dress up. I could try on different things to see how they fit and how I felt. By the end of my 20s, I realized what I didn't like, which also led me to what I did. I'm not a partier. I am a lights out by 9 p.m. kind of a girl. I don't like to cook, but man, I am so happy to host you, and I will make a beautiful table while I call in some takeout. I also know I need some alone time to fill my well so that I can love you well in return. There's a quiet confidence that comes when you know how to care for yourself and when you trust yourself to take good care of yourself. It's the kind of confidence that only comes with age, I think. And the older I get, the easier I can access it. Maybe it's just that the confidence has grown as I've learned to trust myself. I trust myself to do what's best for me. I know what matters most to me, and I go after it. What a feeling. I am so thankful for my 40-year-old mind. Number two, my body. You're not supposed to love your body when you hit 40. That's the story the world has tried to drill into my head, especially as a child of the 80s and 90s. First of all, tell that to Shakira. Second of all, I think that's a load of BS. Because when I stop and think about it, I have so much respect for my body. She is so strong. She has worked so hard, and I mean so hard, to bring 3 children into the world. For the most part, she's kept her cool as she's helped those babies grow. She's run and worked and cleaned and cooked and hauled diaper bags and snacks and computer bags across thousands and thousands of miles across weeks and weeks of her life. She's worked so hard to make the life I enjoy, and I am proud of her. I'm thankful for her. And now, as I look across the landscape of my body that is equal parts familiar and foreign to me, I am thankful for every part of it. When I spy new flecks of gray or catch some waves in my neck that weren't there before, I mean, they weren't, right? I don't look at them in lament, but in wonder. How is it that my body and I have traveled to this place together where we can see these things in the mirror together? How long have we been working together to create a life we live together? And how is it, I wonder, that I can care for this body the way she is right now? How can I care for her well? Yeah, this body may have creaked a little less a few years earlier, and her knees may have felt like they could weather a long walk with a little less protest, but this body has brought me here, to this life I love. She brings me through every single day. She is strong. She is, by all accounts, healthy. I am so thankful to her. The Simplified podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. When you're at your best, you can do great things. But sometimes life gets you bogged down, and you may feel overwhelmed, or like you're not showing up in the way that you want to. Trust me, I've been there. Working with a therapist can help you get closer to the best version of you. Because when you feel empowered, you're more prepared to take on everything life throws at you. Therapy has helped me take a step back and realize that while I can't exactly control everything that happens in my life, I get to choose how I respond to it. And that has brought so much peace back into my life. If you're thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. It's convenient, flexible, affordable, and entirely online. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. If you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/simplified today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/simplified. Here's a fun question. Why does liquid laundry detergent come in massive plastic jugs? Liquid detergent is about 90% water, and our washing machines already have water. So why would we pay more for it? I decided that's not for me anymore. So now I'm using EarthBreeze. EarthBreeze has really made the whole concept of laundry detergent better. Their packaging is compact, biodegradable, and plastic-free. And their Eco Sheets are dermatologically tested and safe for sensitive skin. Plus, EarthBreeze offers flexible subscriptions that make getting your detergent super automated. Just choose your scent and schedule your delivery. And if you need to, you can pause or cancel your subscription anytime. Listen, these EarthBreeze laundry detergent Eco Sheets look like dryer sheets, but they're not. They dissolve 100% in any wash cycle, hot or cold, and work in high-efficiency machines as well. And if you're not 100% satisfied, they'll give you a full refund. Guys, now is the time to try EarthBreeze because my listeners can subscribe and save 40%. Go to earthbreeze.com/simplified to get started. That's earthbreeze.com/simplified for 40% off. earthbreeze.com/simplified. Number 3, my heart. Do you know what my 40-year-old heart realizes more than anything? There is no amount of money or success that could ever replace the people in my life. Absolutely none. Nothing even comes close. I was just reading an interview with Brandi Carlile. The interviewer was talking about how much Brandi had accomplished, and she's accomplished a lot. But Brandi's response really struck me. She said that it's boring to be alone or do anything alone. It's boring to need any credit alone, watch a comedy alone, eat a great meal alone. I just want to be surrounded by people I love all the time. I read that and I thought, absolutely yes. I can't think of anywhere I would rather be than surrounded by the people I love. I know these moments don't last forever. I know these kids won't always be 12 and 7. I know I won't always be 40. I knew this when I was younger, but I didn't know it. Watching the time pass and people come and go makes you realize how precious it all is in the moment. All we have is now. It makes things so much sweeter. I'm grateful for the people in my life. The older I get, the more I realize how precious they are. I'm so thankful to have a heart that holds so much love, and I'm thankful for the chance to give it away too. Number 4, my spirit. In some ways, the spirit can seem like the most mysterious part of ourselves, but you know what? A little mystery is good for us. It keeps us interested and engaged. It keeps us wondering and asking questions and searching for answers. I'm still figuring out what it means to be a spiritual being. Over the last few years, my family and I have found a wonderful community in the church we're part of. I love it for so many reasons. I love the ritual of having a Sunday marked by moments I get to see the smiling faces who have grown to become my close friends. I love the ritual of prayer and reading verses that somehow mean something different to me every time I sit down to read them. I love watching my children run around with their friends, wondering who these fresh faces will become as they continue to grow and change. And through it all, I also enjoy making space to remember that there's a bigger purpose to my days than just answering another email or making another meal or putting another load of laundry in. Taking time to remember that I'm a spiritual being that we're all spiritual beings. It makes me realize that life is so much bigger than what goes on inside this house. There's a whole world of people wanting to love and be loved. And while I can't touch every single person in the world, I know I can certainly love the people I meet in my community right where I am right now. And when that happens, when I look around to see what I have to give, a listening ear, a hug, a donation of time or resources, that generosity touches someone else. I give because I realize what a blessing it's been to be on the receiving end of so much generosity from other people. It's a cycle, right? People give to us and we give in return. Other people are touched by what we give and they pass it on. It's a beautiful cycle. And that's what life is all about. The wonderful rhythm of receiving and giving love. Reaching out, pulling up, clasping hands as we walk together to do good and spread love. I'm grateful for the chance to do this soul-affirming work. Life is certainly different than it was when I was 25, and I'm so glad. It's so much fuller and richer than I could have ever imagined back then. I'm so thankful for the woman I'm becoming. I've put in hard work to be this woman, but there's so much more of me that's made up of miracles, of things I could have never asked for or found on my own. There are countless people who've extended love and grace and generosity to me when I didn't deserve it. I'm so grateful for them, for all of it. And I can't wait to see what's in store for the next 40 years. As we close out this episode, I would like to say a little blessing for you as we leave this time together and get back to our days. I hope you remember how incredible you are. I hope you take stock of your joys and your victories and the way you've moved through your harder moments too. I hope you recognize that no one would be a better you than you, that the world needs your specific brand that you bring to the world, your fierce heart, your exceptional brain, the wisdom of your experiences, all of it. You don't need a milestone birthday to remember your talent and skill, but sometimes it helps. As always, I like to leave you with a few ideas to put what we talked about today into practice, so here's something to think about this week. Honestly, today isn't so much a simplicity tip as it is an encouragement. This week, I encourage you to take a few minutes to think about what makes you proud about yourself. If you feel a little bashful doing this, think about yourself the way a friend might. What do you like about your personality? Is there something you've accomplished that you worked really hard for? Are you excited for the person you're becoming? You don't have to spend long doing this. Just get quiet for a few minutes and see what comes to the surface for you. Trust me, you are worth this kind of attention because you are incredible, just the way you are right now in this very moment. Thank you for listening to the Simplified podcast, and thanks for joining me to think about what it means to hit such a big milestone. To the ones who've come before me, thanks for sharing your wisdom. For the ones coming after me, I hope you saw yourself in these words and came away encouraged for what your tomorrows could look like. You can find show notes for this episode at emilylay.com/podcast, where you can check out links and resources I mentioned here, and you can shop the Simplified brand of planners and products. If you enjoyed this episode, I bet you might like my new book called Sure as the Sunrise, 100 Morning Meditations on God's Mercy and Delight, right now, wherever you buy books. And if you haven't already, go subscribe to our show so it'll show up right in your phone. Talk about automated. Till next time, thanks for listening. Bye.